afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Team Unity Roundtable discussion. I today am your host, Carlos Charles. I guess many of you have heard the news. I have been presented as the leader of the Team Unity group, and to my side here is one of our candidates, one of our leadership members, Team Unity Dominica, the candidate who will represent the people of St. Joseph, Layu, Bells. Um, we have Beirut as well.
Penrise, Layu Park, Layu Valley.
We have the man here, Mr. Ian Rule. And of course, not forgetting to say hi to the people from Marigot Concord that I am representing in this 2020 general election, 2022 general election. Welcome to another Team Unity Roundtable. And today we will be presenting our manifesto, well, probably the only manifesto that's available for this year's election. Yeah, I know you have gotten a chance to look at it and review it. What
Yes,
do you
I
think
did.
so far?
First of all, let me say I'm very pleased to be here this afternoon to assist the team with the presentation of our manifesto. Special good afternoon to the people of Layu, Senju, Viru, Bells, Penrise, entire constituency. Um, the manifesto, which was put together in record time, is here to give a breakdown of what Team Unity is about and what we believe could put Dominica back on a good path, a path of progress. So we're here today to present the manifesto, and it's a manifesto of progress.
Team Unity Dominica, one voice of many, a new era in the presentation of politics in Dominica. If we can just go to the manifesto right here, you will see it on the screen. Yes, and this would be this. We go to the first page. This is the cover of the manifesto, as you can see on the screen. In page one, you see our idea for vision for Dominica. Green being the future. Dominica being largely an agricultural country, agricultural based economy. We want to put the focus back into the agricultural sector.
Yes, we believe the future of Dominica cows is planted in agriculture.
Correct. And we can marry that into other sectors such as energy as well. But that way we will introduce it as time goes by.
Because when you look at Dominica, what do we have? What are we reaching? Fertile soil,
Lots of fertile soil.
This is the base for agriculture.
And Dominicans largely are persons who are willing to work hard.
Definitely.
I grew up with a family, not just my mother and father, but I remember my deceased grandparents who were largely farmers.
Well, if you grew up in the 80s, in Dominican 80s,
yes,
more likely than not, you were the child of one of the farmers.
Yes.
You know, and these were good days.
Yes.
These were good days.
We call them the green gold.
Yep.
Green gold. But first, let's go to the second page where we tell you, the general public, and of course, you know, Team Unity Dominica, we don't stay too long, or we don't have too many long drawn out discussions, but we have to present our manifesto. Why are we contesting? We have observed that the spirit of our people are broken. The spirit is broken, and we need sober intervention. We're not here about saving a party. We're about saving our country. We have sober minds, and we want to ensure that we make the correct representation for people as they have asked on the ground.
Yes, certainly. And I mean, having said that, a vote for Team Unity is a vote for progress. A vote for Team Unity is a vote for Dominica.
We are standing for Dominica. We are contending for Dominica. We are providing our Dominican people a lifeline. We are providing the people an option. We are providing the people with a unified voice. We are serving as watchdog to our democracy. I mean, if we don't contest and we leave it on for the ruling party, I mean, where's the democracy in that? But everyone has their constitutional God-given right to vote for the party of their choosing. And if you don't give the people an option, there's no democracy, there's no choice. So by doing this, we are presenting the people with a choice. Yeah?
Yeah. Now, I was about to say, despite what the point there is to be made for the way things happen, but at the end of the day, we should all realize that
you have to give people a voice.
have to give the people a voice. We have to give the people an opportunity to vote.
We are also providing an opportunity for our people to vent. We offer the public the most fundamental tool to save our democracy. That is your vote. We are giving the citizens a voice and a place in the Dominican legislature. If we don't take part and we leave it for the ruling party to do everything, they have no pros and cons. The only pros or cons. So we have to give the people an avenue to provide a voice.
And Carlos, the thing is, we may look like two or a small team, but really we represent what majority of Dominica wants, what majority of Dominica needs. But of course, everybody cannot be out there presenting the case. So we are here to represent the voice of the people.
We are adding a fresh and progressive voice to the national political debate. A fresh and progressive voice. So when you say fresh and progressive, what jumps up to you?
And by debate, Carlos, there has to be another side to the discussion. By virtue of a debate, it cannot be a one-party business. There has to be discussion, and to discuss, we need opposing sides as well.
We are responding to the demands of the people for better representation. So, you've been on the ground, you've been talking with the people from your constituency. What has the feedback been like?
But it is certainly something, better representation is certainly something that is needed. And I can speak for my constituency, which is an agricultural constituency. And as we know, the agricultural sector, the agricultural industry in Dominica is dead, is largely neglected. You have hardworking people willing to work, and then there's no facilities, there's no markets, there's no support from the government, there's no inputs for the produce that is being grown. And we need that sort of representation to push the cause of the people, because we need to go back to the land. And that is why we think at Team Unity that the future of Dominica is planted in agriculture.
Now we're registering our interest in the children and our youth of our nation. Now Team Unity is largely a youthful organization. We are the youth party. We are suggesting an engaging attitude is necessary for growth. So now if you don't engage people, don't sit down and talk with them, you don't listen to what they want you to do, how do you move forward?
Yeah. And also, Carlos, engagement itself can be looked in two ways, because there's positive engagement and there's negative engagement.
Which are all necessary for growth.
Which are all necessary for growth. But what we see now is a situation where, the engagement is more to give handouts, you understand, to encourage drinking, and that sort of illicit behavior. Whereas you go around the country, few years ago, 25, 30 years ago, on a Sunday, there's a cricket match happening there. There's a food boiling by the river. You don't see these things. These things have disappeared. You know, and these are the sense of community that we want to bring back to Dominica.
We are showing the maturity and bravery in the face of adversity. We are announcing a new era in politics, a new sort of politics. We are actually changing the guard. We are showing political grit. We are offering hope. We show strength, and the people will win. Our decision to contest is grounded in what we see as a collective broken spirit of our people. Dominicans don't express confidence in the electoral process, and it would be unfair to impose an unchallenged government on them at this juncture. There is a shattering of the Dominican spirit, and TUD stands ready to engage on a united, peaceful, and progressive front to face the uncertain future. This is why we are contesting. So, the argument that political parties should not take part in the election, why should we not take part when the people are asking for better representation? Yes, we need reforms, and we'll get to reforms later on in the manifesto. But there are different ways that you can tackle the issues to the benefit of the people.
Yeah, put simply terms, if you don't participate, you can't win. And yet this is the desire of other political parties to win. But how can you win if you don't participate? You know?
And next we have our ministries. Our ministries that should we get into the government, or what our unity organization would present to the people. The first ministry would be the Ministry of Youth Participation, housing, economy, health, wellness, culture, and agriculture. So we marry these sectors and look to growing them as to who will head what. That is something we would present at the appropriate time. But on the second ministry, the Ministry of Indigenous Citizen, Gerontology, Diaspora Dominicans, New Citizens, Industry and Commerce, and Innovativeness and Indigenous Creations. So we want to create more avenues for our indigenous people to make money, to develop themselves, to develop Dominica by extension.
Yes, of course. I mean, our indigenous people are very, very skilled and talented people with their hands, you know, and there's a lot of different products that come out of the Kalinavu territory, and we need to find markets for these products as a means of bringing revenue to the people and also recognizing the skills.
I've seen on Amazon, not to sorry to call it international company, some of those related products that are created by our indigenous people in Dominica, and it's being sold very cheaply in Dominica. If we were able to sort of get them into a cooperative setting,
Yeah.
help them to market their products,
Market their product.
they would benefit, Dominica would benefit by extension, and the economy locally in that local area, and Dominica as a whole would benefit.
Yeah, and these are the facilities that I'm speaking about that we will focus on as a government, because right now there's no focus on these facilities, you know, to find markets for these people, because you cannot expect everyone to go and look for a market for themselves. And like you see, if they could come together in a cooperative, government could provide that facility of helping locate the markets for the products, then we would have a booming economy in that locality.
Ministry of Gender, Social Security, Welfare, individuals with different abilities, the environment, lands, rivers, aquifers, forestry, park, and recreation. That falls under one ministry, we managed by one person. The Ministry of Legal Affairs, Planning and Infrastructural Construction, Architectural Preservation, and the Constitution and Rights. The fifth ministry will be the Ministry of Human Development, Ports, Maritime Affairs, Aviation, Disaster Management, Aeronautics, and Intelligent Life. Before I go forward, any comments on these? All right. The Ministry of Education, Creole and other languages. Creole should be our second language in Dominica, and not only be taught at schools, but it be implemented in our parliament. If we look at just over there, Sister Island St. Lucia, Creole is part of the parliament discussion. We should include Creole into our local, not just.
I think so too. I think so too. I mean, and first of all, it's a language that we should not be ashamed of. And I think there was a time in Dominica where that was the case. You know, it was looked down upon if you were speaking Creole or if that's the only language you could speak.
Right.
But by reintroducing it in schools, you know, as a subject, I think that would highlight the heritage because this is a very, very important part of our history.
And that will be the Ministry of Education, Creole, and other languages. So, Margot, we are not forgetting you neither. Music, sports, heritage, folklore, and traditions, and religion and spirituality. Ministry of Finance, Jobs, Employment, the private sector, and wealth creation and investment. Now, if you have been following Team Unity, you notice that we have been about the people making money. During the presentation of our budget response, it was entitled Otalaja, plenty money for everyone, opportunities for everybody to make money in Dominica. So we have so many ideas, and all these will be implemented as part of our 11 ministries. In the fifth one, it will be the Ministry of Trade, Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Governance, Public Workers, Unions, and Social Justice. The Ministry of Public Works, that under the ninth ministry, Urban and Rural Development, and New Families and Community Empowerment. So now I see after the just before the independence celebrations, we had brand new roads. And how long has it been since the independence celebration and prayer festival, and we had the influx of visitors into Dominica, which we welcome, by the way. Thank you for coming to Dominica. We welcome you here another time. But if we look around now, there's so many roads, even in the heat of this election campaign. There's so many roads unkept. There's so many highway in front of the Fokuli intersection. There's a giant road. I think you will disappoint that way. The guys with their nice rims on their cars, if they want to fall into that, you see a rim bend.
These are holes that cause serious damage to tires.
And
in fact,
suspension.
that as well. Yes.
You have been a victim of that as well. You have your suspension getting damaged. You have
Tires just caught in beyond repair.
In the 10th ministry, the Ministry of Heroes, Pioneers, and Seniors, Citizens at Risk, Regional and International Relations. The 11th ministry, the Ministry of the Prime Minister and Minister of Broadcasting, Technologies, Communications, National Defense, National Spirit, Treaties, Foreign Policy, Protocol, and Diplomacy. This is what we would be presenting as a unity government.
Carlos, before we move on, the ministries, the titles of the ministries could appear some to be a bit complex, but it is as a result of trying to marry as much of the related entities as we can in an effort to reduce the number of ministries and, of course, in turn, the economic building and government.
Only a unity government can resolve the issues of our countries. And we have pledged $3 billion to our agricultural sector, which would kickstart the new economy, right?
And just to add, Carlos, this $3 billion is not a $3 billion that will be injected
No,
on day
no,
one.
no.
You know, this is say over 1/2, for example.
Overall.
You know, but that is when we look at the situation now, that is what we see and that is needed to bring back agriculture to where we know it can be in Dominica.
And as part of that, we would build, repair, and resurface 100% of Dominica's feeder roads. In my community of Marigot, for example, a lot of the farmers are crying. They tell me, Carlos, if I don't have a good four-wheel drive vehicle, I cannot get to my farm. Sometimes I have to walk from the town to go up there. And even to get to the town, which is above Marigot, and go up that hill is a problem.
And Carlos, the feeder roads in the communities, some of them are pretty bad. But even the secondary roads, you go off the main road, there's a secondary road, which
Yes.
is sort of a main road for that, hamlet in the community.
Yes.
And the condition of that, is so bad because this is the main road to people's homes. I'm not even talking about from their homes to the farms, to the homes itself. And these roads are so bad that it's unbelievable, that there's representation for these places.
And if you were listening to Team Unity's presentation of the budget response, we mentioned building homes for farmers as part of their farming project. So the second component of our 3 billion economy, say 3 billion sounds like a lot of money, but when you add all the various components which would form part of our agricultural thrust, all these things cost money.
And Carlos, 3 billion, like you say, could look like a lot, but remember, we are raising the dead.
Our agricultural sector
We are raising the
is
dead.
very
We
dead.
really have to go under the farmers
And lift them up.
So 3 billion is what it will take to do that. So it's not an imaginary figure at all.
So we would develop fully contained homes for farmers on their farms if required. Family trust and logistic program to fund housing. Agribusiness and tourism for nature's agrotherapy. Establish and build the Kalinago Agricultural University and Heritage Complex. The rebuilding of Dominica's manufacturing industry. And this is very, very important too, because when we look at what we do here in Dominica, we import a lot. Chicken, I know, I'm very passionate about it. I mean, everybody knows me, knows my passion for pork, but I also love chicken as well. But when we have to look at what comes in to Dominica as compared to what we ship out, we have to place a greater emphasis on Dominica's manufacturing industry. And we went to one of the best high schools in Dominica, and you would have been taught about the improper balance of trade. So you look at what's coming in and compare it to what's going out, and we don't have to spell it out to you.
I mean, there's no balance. There's no balance. We import everything.
So if we focus more on the manufacturing sector and marketing of those products, we can seek to bring that scale back down to a better equilibrium that we can move our country forward. The creation of Nature's Isles Nectar Factory and Distribution Center. Now that will become part of our rebuilding of our manufacturing industry. So that is an avenue that we can use to, for example, all these fruits that are wasted all over the island. They can now be repurposed.
Yeah.
and we can look to develop it in an area where persons would know, boy, let me plant more passion fruits. Let me grow more coconut trees. And look at the quick turnover of crops. Let me grow a lot more watermelons, and we can now can these products and look to export them. But people in the diaspora love our Caribbean products.
Oh, yes.
Bell, for example, is a manufacturing product that persons love us. They love the Carl's pepper sauce. They love the hot rose pepper sauce as well.
And right now, Carlos, we're exporting. I mean, there's a Hucksters Association, and there are a few Hucksters in Dominica. Mainly everybody doing
Doing their
thing,
own
you know,
thing.
trying to find their own
Yeah.
market and stuff like that. So even within that little organization, the focus is on exporting what we have. What we realize is if we focus on agro processing, okay, and we decide we're going to make something out of what we produce, we're going to achieve two things. We're going to retain that revenue, right? That some other country would have processed it and made that money, and we're going to create jobs for our people.
More jobs for people. The implementation of the new indigenous economic initiatives, investment in a Dominica high-grade cannabis industry. Now, my friends, I have a lot of guys who are interested in the cannabis industry, and I mean, largely it's a touchy subject, yes, but it is something that I myself have never been adverse to. So you create avenues for the guys. First of all, yeah, I would like to look at the decriminalization of the marijuana. So the guys who have been largely been arrested and have bad raps for petty amounts, and make it more controlled. Let the guys, the guys who have been largely been promoting it before even us, the politicians, have take notice. Let them benefit from it, as opposed to new people coming in and just jumping on board.
I mean, it's a controlled substance,
Right.
yes. However, there's immense medicinal purposes for cannabis, and also there's a huge market, not just in the Americas, but especially in Europe, for cannabis products. And there are ways that we could take advantage of that, with the proper control system, with the proper laws. There are ways we can we can benefit from this, multi-billion-dollar industry.
And let me just say thank you to those who are viewing our program live as we go through the presentation of our manifesto document. We thank you for watching, and we do invite you to share with your friends so that more can get to know what Team Unity program is all about. And in the other subject is something that you seem passionate about earlier, and that's the rejuvenation of our fisher food and huckster industry. National support as well for shops and similar small businesses, and the re-establishment of local manufacturing of Dominica Brewery Limited. I can't understand why we allow that company to leave our shores and have the beer of Dominica be bottled in another island.
It's amazing.
Or Dominica water. I love Nubia water so much. I cannot understand why not that I have anything against the other local brands. I don't have anything against them. But I mean, as a taste, the taste, you really like it.
Yeah, it is the environment that is being created for these investments, that is causing us to lose such important businesses.
The Windsor Park enhancements, and if you remember, we mentioned in time recently the tuning of the Windsor Park in Dominica and the Windsor Park in England, so we'll be able to do cross exchange, community partnerships, and so on. So we could grow our own sporting sector in Dominica, more opportunities for our sportsmen and women, and so on and so forth. The St. Andrews Golf Course and the Iwo Ligla National Cultural Sector. All these are ideas of our unity government. And this would, in our mind, help us to achieve 3,000 new family units in 5 years, while creating 1,000 national youth guards in 5 years. Now, this youth guard idea is not an army. It's not an army. An idea what in our mind that we want to take the youth who have nothing better to do, take them off the streets, guide them, develop them, create opportunities for them, and put them together in a national guard system where they will be paid, for example, they will be trained, and in times of crisis, national emergency, for which happened during the time of Hurricane Maria and Tropical Storm Erica, these persons can be called upon to assist in times of emergency. They'll be helping to clear the roads. They'll be helping to rescue persons who need help, and a nice area will be set up for them where they'll be properly secured, they'll be properly trained, and the money to do that will come from friendly donors, persons who have, and yes, we have been talking to persons all over the world who want to help Dominica and would love to see a community government come into place.
And just to add, Carlos, skills like uh, um, administering first aid,
Yes.
And CPR and first responders, knowing what to do in cases of emergencies and accidents.
Taking the pressure off our health system,
yeah,
and even the Red Cross. Not that we don't like or we are adverse to their services, but we want to complement what the good that they are already doing.
Yeah, the first minute, or like in some TV shows, right, the first 48 hours, but in that perspective, we're not talking about that long. But imagine an accident happened, right? The first 15 minutes is crucial.
Yes.
And if dispersed through the island, we have these young people with this skill set that could hold it fort while the emergency responders are on their way. I mean, we can imagine the amount of lives that would be saved.
So with that in mind, we also want to do 3,500 youth farming professionals in 5 years. Now, the farming traditionally has been taken on by our parents or grandparents. I remember a politician some time ago telling me, as a young person, that they don't want it. They don't think that Dominica needs to focus on agriculture. We need to focus on tourism, because you're not going to, meaning me, I'm not going to go into the farm. But even if I don't go, you might want to go, and I can still go in such a way, because technology is improving. There are different ways of that farming can be made easier, and I mean, yes, Dominica is a very challenging area to work with, but in terms of development and moving forward, the ideas largely come from the youth. So if you create an avenue for the youth farmers to get in and have interest and make money and get back what they put in, we will achieve these 3,500 youth farmers that we want, and maybe more.
Yeah, yeah. If a politician were to come to me, Carlos, and say that to me, what he said to you, I would attempt to wake him up because I would be convinced that he's asleep, especially a politician in Dominica.
Yeah, but that was said to me. That was said to me. And 4,500 youth employment permanent and interim in 5 years. So the National Employment Program, a program that has generated a lot of interest. We don't have an issue with it. We don't have an issue with the NEP as it's, but we would seek to change it around and move it away from what it is right now. It's even within this political climate, it is not as a, how would I say it, like used as a whip
Yeah,
on the people's back.
yeah,
Take it away from the politicians and put it into the hands of ordinary persons in the public sector, not the politicians. Um,
also to provide an increase.
well, yes, yes, proper salaries.
Yeah,
2,500 youth entrepreneurs in 5 years. You see that? We are both young persons who are into business, and we would like to see more business happening in Dominica. There are so many ideas that our young people have for developing themselves and making their own money. Not everybody wants to go and sit down in a corporation and sit down in an office. Someone other persons like to go out and do their own thing and be their own boss. They want as we say in our local parlance, we want to do our own hustle.
yeah. And if you look at the potential of agriculture, this number of 2,500 is very modest when you look at the potential of agriculture. And once agriculture gets the economy moving,
And that marries into the next idea, which is 2,500 youth that is under 29-year-old housing homeowners in 5 years. We want more. We want more homes to be developed in what we are accustomed to. Everybody wants to build their own home. We don't want government giving us a house. We want the government to create the avenue that we can make our own money and I can build my own house. I don't want you to tell me that's what I do. That's what you want to do. I want to design my house. If I want to put a big bathroom, if I want to put a walk-in closet, if I want to have a jacuzzi, if I want to have a fridge with Amazon ordering on it, I want to have my own fridge on ice. If I want to do my own thing, I want to be able to make my own money and do my own thing.
and what people need to realize also is we we grew up knowing that sort of thing you described.
Yes.
Okay. Any attempt to congregate people and put in facilities is an attempt to control people. You know, you give people the means to make their money, you liberate them, and you allow them to fly. You allow them to exercise their choice. You know, you work hard, you get rewarded for it. You decide to be lazy, well, the reward will be proportionate to your input.
Unlimited housing units for qualified homeowners 19 years and above. So even if you're 55 and that's the first time building your home, we, the TUD government will seek to help you. TUD will provide an avenue in which you will get your own home with your title. In order to safeguard, and as in the next page, our national foundation, TUD will establish these ideas. The National Heroes Conference, the National Federal Reserve Unit, which would be part of the National Bank of Dominica, the National Hall of Fame Initiative, the National Food Bank and Diaspora League, and all these ideas are things that we have gone through if you have been following TUD for the past couple months. Um, Things that we have been presenting feel free to engage us and ask us more about it. Let me just run through. I don't want to stay too long in this time. I see we've gone on for about 40 minutes so far. The National Free Speech Zone, the National Land Use Policy, Gerontology Foundation, Organic Producer Project, and Endangered Species Internet Access Initiative, Foundational for the Elderly, Inheritance Act, Emblems and Treasures, Sports and Social Clubs, Movement to Protect Rivers, and so on and so forth. All these.
Yeah, I mean, the people will go into the details as we make the manifesto available to as many people as possible.
Yes, and
So
it's
we'll just
available.
breeze
We have a few copies available. We'll talk to our members. They can provide you with one, as well as available in soft copy format. Let's go to our TUD's top priorities, top three priorities in office. Jobs being number one. Ian, you want to take that one?
Well, I mean, to sustain any economy, jobs has to be created. And right now, we need the creation of sustainable jobs in the economy because we want to provide people not with a one-time handout, but something that, a job that, say, has a corporate ladder or even an avenue for the individual to branch out
Right.
on their own into their own business.
So as part of as presented in our manifesto, a TUD government will consist of 11 ministries and the Ministry of Youth Participation, Housing, the Economy, Health and Wellness, Culture and Agriculture will lead Dominica's economic transformation. When the national economy is transformed, the housing construction sector will boom. So the emphasis has to be on the overall health of the economy. So if the economy is not healthy, then we can't move in those areas. So we have to develop. We have to get the money coming into the country.
We have to create a situation where there's cash flow.
From that over reliance on selling our birthright. The future government of Dominica cannot adopt the Boatital agenda that has failed too many of our people, especially the youth. We will provide incentives for corporations to hire new employees in exchange for tax or other concessions necessary for the expansion of their businesses. We will allow private sector to be the engine of growth in the Dominican economy. A TUD government will train citizens for future jobs in a very competitive global environment. We will promote entrepreneurship, development, cultural, tourism, art and music as commercial engagements. And when in government, TUD will provide the environment necessary for the growth of these new industries while solidifying existing corporation and rebuilding past and failed institutions. We will provide the Dominican manufacturing sector with the right and meaningful technical and financial resources in order that Dominican goods could compete globally. So like we were speaking about earlier in terms of our manufacturing sector and a lot of already canning and helping in companies like Bellows, Ben Jones and so on and the like to grow and get more. We will teach entrepreneurship, inheritance, and wealth creation at Dominican schools and register children to receive or acquire public lands through TUD's own a piece of nature OPN initiative. OPN is a land purchase plan for children and families who are interested in land for housing, businesses, and agriculture. I mean, if you remember when we were younger, there's so many older persons who were able to buy so much land.
Yeah.
And in the past 20, 30 years, the access to land has been it's gotten harder for persons of what they call us the millennials and the others who came after us. Government will enable the creation of 5,000 new jobs in our first term. The second priority is housing, and if you notice, we cannot marry the two different priorities. We need jobs to be able to create housing. Everybody has to be able to make money. If you can't make money, then I say, okay, government gives you a house. What happens to when you have a fridge in your house?
Electricity and utilities.
Your stomach making you We have to focus, the emphasis has to be focused on job creation, wealth creation. If you are Dominican, living in Dominica or overseas, born from 19 to 99, Mapampo, or older, and you have not owned a house, our program will encourage you to do so. The youth, however, will empower our housing and family community transformation initiative. We particularly cater for single mothers who, based on Dominica's social welfare records, have been managing their households. So here's how you qualify or become eligible for assistance to own your own home under the Future TUD government program. A, you are an adult Dominican citizen residing in Dominica or in the diaspora. If you are currently earning traceable income or have the support of someone who does, that's B. C, if you are first-time homeowner, preferably with a family or have a demonstrated ability to pay. D, special provisions will be made for single-parent families, especially women. Women we have not forgotten. A focus will be placed on expanding the present family count. Dominica needs to be more nuclear and less extended family. Until we plans to have more younger Dominicans lead the housing solution with this in mind. So more family homes instead of a situation where aunties living together and grandfather. Not that you're not supposed to take care of the older ones, but everybody needs to have their own space. They said that two male crab can live in one home. The theory government will facilitate that. Our third area of emphasis will be education and reform. A team unity government theory will establish a permanent platform for the promotion of free speech for Dominican citizens. To better promote our agenda, TUD will do the following. A, establish general reform procedures which would access electoral processes, which would address the electoral processes on the island of Dominica. So here we talk about electoral reform. That is first and foremost in TUD's education and reform agenda. A complete voter re-registration, redistricting of constituency boundaries, making each of the electoral districts equal or proportional in terms to population for representation. Campaign finance monitoring, reporting, equal access to all political parties on all media under the Broadcast Act, which will be introduced in Parliament within months of TUD's first stint in office. Creating a special forum on Dominica Information Services, GIS, for the honorable leader of the opposition to promote his party's achievements or agenda. So the leader of the opposition needs to have access to the government information service.
That's crucial for the democratic progress.
Right. So make it even for everyone. Host monthly media briefings. A specific briefing room will be established where officials can respond to questions from the press. So Kalai will be able to question the TUD Prime Minister with no fear of repercussions. Appoint the ombudsman and provide all the support for the effective operation of this investigative. When last time we heard that word here? Do you even know what we have that for? I don't think the average young person in Dominica knows the role of the ombudsman. You know, that's the watchdog of the Dominican economy to make sure that everything is being done. And I can't remember who was the last person who held that role.
This is non-existent.
A TUD government will put that in place. Reinstitute the integrity in public office to include offices for the legal, business, and civic society fraternity. So those persons who were removed from the IPO organization, you will be brought back. You will have your voice will be there. finance and staff the Electoral Commission staff, and provide them with up-to-date training on the management and protection of the vote and democracy. Set up People's Park as a free speech zone with conveniences to promote any and everyone who wish to hold protests anti-government or pro-government or whoever, functions, demonstration, and other such manifestations. J, without harassment, this zone will be named as part of the Freedom Square, which will encompass the old and new markets and adjoining Dame Eugenia Boulevard, including the roundabout, which already bears the statue and spirit of a free Africa. The promotion of the importance of free speech in schools and other government and private institutions. This is very important right now. The establishment of the Dominica Debate Commission, which will independently manage and run. And this commission will be responsible for convening free and fair, compulsory political debates in which all qualifying parties will participate. You think I'll get the debate with Harrison? Or you think you'll be able to debate against Dr. IP or what? The Labour candidate for the St. Joseph constituency. I think we'll see that before December 6th.
Yeah,
I highly doubt.
we will see that. We will see that. But this is something that we must
Until the government will do that. We look at it in the US and we long for it in Dominica, but we don't do the things necessary to make it happen. The establishment of a Heroes Pact or society for Dominicans who have contributed to the growth of our nation. Black, Patrick John, Olin Moody, W.N. Pond, Ellen Christian, Von Henderson, the Dr. Lieutenant Shinaford, and much more. The creation of a new Dominican society which is built on tolerance and love. They adopt the constitutional reform suggestions. Regularize the scholarship tendering program to have technocrats, not politicians, making the decisions on who receive funding for education and other terms associated with higher learning, and offer more wide-ranging training opportunities to students in areas of specific interests. These are the three areas which a TUD government will.
Carlos, let me just add to the reform part, just a bit of a breakdown. Electoral reform is the hot-burning issue, right?
Yes.
But also very important issues are reforming the civil service, reforming the police service, reforming the health sector,
Yes.
and reforming publics. And I just want to make a special appeal to truckers, heavy equipment operators, which I have direct association with. That we are team.
I myself.
Yeah, we are team unity. We hear you. We understand the plight of truckers. You know, for too long your truck is sitting there, battery dying, and yet there are foreign trucks up and down in every day. You know, we hear your plight, so we stand in solidarity with you, truckers and heavy equipment operators.
We see so many excavators, rollers, and so on. I think there's a guy with a spreader with what's called, and that's just fact. And the guys with excavators, good condition,
Yeah,
good
not because there's no work, but because the work is going in one direction. You know, and we need to change that. We need to change that. We hear you, truckers. At Team Unity, we hear you.
Our team to begin the conversation, of course, I myself am the unity leader candidate for the Maribor constituency. I have been involved in the IT sector, audiovisual, and heavy equipment sector. We also have Jason Fountain from Lapin, Lyndon Peters from Granby, and Ian Rowe from St. Joseph, Jason John Baptist, candidate for the Joseph Central, and these are our team members to begin the conversation on a new Dominica, which should come from the new era of politics, a Team Unity Dominica government. Any last words as we say? Well, I think we did this in good timing here.
Yes.
We hit the 55-minute mark, and we have to get ready to go join our brother Jason in his one of our meetings in the Lapland area. I see they did a nice little setup at the junction on the bus stop in Lapland to join. But any
Okay.
last?
Well, yes, Carlos, I would like to encourage the Dominican people to take the time. We have unlimited soft copies of the manifesto. We have limited hard copies. But please take the time to go through the manifesto. Give us some feedback, if you will, please. We would appreciate your feedback and constructive criticism. And engage us anytime.
Yes, our manifesto, which is available in hard copy. We have it in the flesh, a real manifesto, not just available online, but in person. The only party presently with a manifesto available for the Dominican public to read, to see a plan for the development of Dominica moving forward. And I see persons who have gotten feedback from various persons on our manifesto. Some good, well, most good. Maybe one person had a negative to say. And if you're listening in not you, but the general public listening to in one of my speeches, I invited the Dominican public to criticize us. So let us know where we're going wrong so we can fix it and do it properly, do it the way that you want it to be done.
Like we are saying, it's a conversation. And by way of conversation, you have to engage us. We want to engage the people to know what is the desire of the people, what are the problems that the people are facing. We do not want to assume that. We want to know. So we're appealing to you to engage us, speak with us, let us know what it is so we can represent your voice.
And this is largely a product of the engagements which we have been having with the Dominican people over the past couple months. So based on what we have been discussing with you, this is our presentation to you, the Dominican people, for a vote for Team Unity, a vote for the fork, the symbol of fork, and we'll be here with you to do the development that you ask for your country, our country, Dominica. On behalf of the rest of the team, our producer who's been behind the scenes doing our production for us. So we have a new producer. I'm here in a new role, and thank you all for the support, the overwhelming pouring of support which we have been receiving from across the world. On behalf of our team and myself, presenting with our brother Ian Rowe, I'd like to thank you for viewing and look forward to speaking with you one-on-one and engaging with you online and in other means. Thank you for watching and look forward to seeing you another time.